The first time it rains on Hormuz Island, the ground doesn't drink it. It bleeds. Thin red streams crawl downhill like veins opening, silent fast, heading straight for the sea. And when they reach the water, the shoreline turns the color of fresh wounds. For hours, tourists call it beautiful. Locals call it normal. But the island is telling you something. You're standing on iron. Because this isn't paint, it isn't algae, it isn't pollution, it's geology, exposed raw, and watching who steps closer. Hormuz is small on a map, but up close it feels like a sealed container that got cracked open. The sand is red because it's packed with iron oxides, especially hematite minerals that form when rock meets oxygen and time. In dry weather, it sits there like powdered rust. After rare rain, it liquefies and runs. Red rivers that stain the coast and make the ocean look contaminated, even though it's the opposite. This is the island's natural skin washing away in front of you. And then comes the strangest part. People don't just walk on this island, they eat it. The red soil has a name, Gelak, and it's used like a spice. It's mixed into a local fish condiment called sura, and it can tint food the way paprika does. Imagine tasting the ground beneath your feet. Imagine knowing the flavor comes from minerals that can stain stone. In Hormuz, the line between landscape and ingredient is so thin it disappears. For centuries, the red wasn't only a curiosity, it was a resource. Red ochre from Hormuz shows up in trade lists and even encyclopedia-style references as an export. Pigment pulled from the island and shipped out as color. Color for coatings, color for ceramics, color for things you touch every day without thinking. Walls, tiles, paints, glazes. The island doesn't just look unreal. Parts of it have been carried into other people's homes, ground into powder, and spread like a quiet signature. That's the modern trick of this place. It can be both sacred and commercial at the same time. A beach becomes a mine. A landscape becomes inventory. And when a place turns into a product, someone always pushes too far. There have been accusations and headlines about illegal export and smuggling. Soil leaving the island in ways it shouldn't. Because the red isn't infinite. If you remove the color, you remove the myth. You erase the very thing people travel to see. But scientists don't come here for the Instagram red. They come because Hormuz is a natural laboratory, an exposed mineral system where the ingredients of the earth are laid out like evidence. Researchers map it with remote sensing and hyperspectral tools. Satellite eyes trained to detect subtle differences in minerals by how they reflect light. From above, the island can be read like a bruise. Different shades, different chemistry, different histories pressed into the surface. And the red soil isn't just studied, it's tested. In applied chemistry, Hormuz red soil has been explored as a natural hematite-rich catalyst to enhance ozonation, helping break down contaminants like acetaminophen in water. Think about that for a second. The same iron-rich powder that turns beaches blood-colored is being investigated for cleaning modern water systems. Because traces of our daily life, our painkillers, our waste end up in rivers and treatment plants. Hormuz is ancient, but it keeps colliding with the present. So the island becomes a paradox. People consume it for flavor, export it for color, study it for minerals, and test it for purification. And yet, it sits beside one of the most tense stretches of water on the planet, Strait of Hormuz. A shipping choke point where the world's economy holds its breath. Tankers pass, warships watch. Every ripple of tension can spike anxiety in markets and headlines. The island is quiet, but it is not isolated. Military drills in the strait aren't background noise here. They're a reminder that beauty can live inside a loaded room. When the sea around you is a chessboard, even a beach feels like a border. And in periods of conflict, fears flare up about disruption, about closure scenarios, about the idea that this narrow passage could be squeezed shut. Whether it happens or not, the fear itself is powerful. It changes shipping confidence overnight. It turns maps into warnings. Now put that next to the red soil story. The island is valuable for what it contains, and the water is valuable for what it controls. Resource and route, pigment and passage. That's why Hormuz feels watched. Not in a supernatural way, more like a place with too many eyes on it. When tourists arrive, they see color. When governments look, they see position. When smugglers look, they see a commodity. And when the island bleeds after rain, it's like it's reminding everyone, you can take from me, but I will always leave a stain. Walk the red beach long enough, and you notice something unsettling. The color isn't uniform. Some patches are bright like fresh clay. Others are dark like dried blood. The mineral mix shifts beneath your feet, and your footprints don't just mark sand, they mark chemistry. This is why the rivers look alive in videos. Fine particles suspended in water create that thick, creeping motion. The flow hugs the ground, spreads branches, and then, suddenly, vanishes into the sea like it never happened. And that's where the fear slips in quietly. How easy it is to mistake natural processes for disaster. How quickly our minds jump to contamination when the ocean changes color. Hormuz proves the opposite. Sometimes the most shocking visuals are simply the earth showing its true materials. But it also hints at something darker. If a coastline can look poisoned when it's healthy, then how many truly poisoned coastlines have we learned to ignore because they don't look dramatic enough? There's a reason this place goes viral again and again. Red water is primal. It hits a part of the brain that doesn't care about explanations. The camera sees blood. The algorithm sees shock. But the island doesn't care what we call it. The island just keeps doing what it has always done. Oxidize, crumble, stain, and reform. And every time it rains, it repeats the same message in the simplest language possible. Color. If you listen carefully, you can hear the deeper story beneath the spectacle. This beach is not a one-time miracle. It's the surface expression of deep geology. Salt and rock pushed, folded, exposed. Minerals brought up from ancient layers like secrets dragged into daylight. And that's why it feels uncanny. Because it looks like a special effect, but it isn't. It's the earth without makeup. And when the earth shows you its real face, you realize how thin the normal world really is. So here's the question Hormuz leaves behind. If an island can be eaten, exported, studied and weaponized by headlines, what's left of it that still belongs to itself? The red beach will keep bleeding into the sea after rare rain, turning the shoreline crimson for hours, like a warning written in rust. And if you want the next story where nature doesn't chase you, it signals, subscribe to Off the Map. Next, Catatumbo lightning, Venezuela. The storm where the night never truly ends, and the sky keeps detonating with light like it's lost its mind, again and again over the same dark water.